Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now June 2nd of 2023. Happy Friday everybody, by the way. I hope you're all having an amazing week so far and preparing for a great weekend. There's a lot of things going on with the Star Wars franchise, both good and bad. Everything on Jon and Dave's side is really uplifting, whereas everything on Kathleen Kennedy's side is really quite worrisome and leaves a lot of fans, including myself, very skeptical about where things are going for the Acolyte and Skeleton crew and a whole lot more than that. However, focusing on Jon Favreau, he's been staying very much in touch with the fans and exactly where Star Wars is heading, exactly what they are about to do with the franchise, and more. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support, and without further ado, let's get right into the subject. Now, we know that Jon Favreau is about to become a part of the big D23 announcements that will take place this September. This, of course, involves a series of Star Wars shows and movies, and a whole lot more than that, such as the books and the comics and the video games, that's really going to make up this entire universe at hand. However, what's even all the more intriguing is exactly what Favreau had to say specifically about something that he is canceling altogether, that is going to either, of course, benefit the Star Wars franchise or really kind of contribute to the community as a whole. He goes on a whole entire thing, and we're going to be tapping into this right now, exactly what Favreau plans to do and how it's going to be done, alright? So, on top of this, with Jon Favreau recently answering many fan questions about the future of Star Wars and, of course, staying in contact, he recently had something to say of significance to the community by delivering the following. We have noticed the rise in fan criticism over the years in response to the past treatment of this franchise. Myself and Dave are making sure to abandon and cancel the old way of thinking by the lack of acknowledging this community. We are canceling all of it, that whole mentality of extracting the fan base and their input. This is why we have been creating a special group or team that is going to analyze fan reception more carefully this time around, that has been already going into effect, that we will be using for Ahsoka, Mando Season 4, and many other great projects on the horizon for us here to come. To us, the fans are very important. It's our priority, and I always felt that this franchise needed to be handled with greater respect. Now, let me stop here quick about what Favreau's saying. So basically what he's saying is that he is canceling out the old mentality of Disney, and he kind of did elaborate on this a couple days ago, somewhat, but this is basically his calling for canceling that old way of thinking by Disney, and that way of thinking is not looking at the fan base, not acknowledging the fan reception, not looking at, what fans want and don't want very carefully. They already created a very big and specialized team that's going to really invest in fan reception levels and fan engagement levels and what works and what doesn't work. They're going to be analyzing everything episode by episode, minute by minute, to see exactly what needs to be improved. And you know what? I'm all for this, because this is going to not only be better for anything moving onwards, but it's going to give us more quality-driven products, everything after Ahsoka. And even Ahsoka itself is said to be a very valuable Star Wars show, very cinematic. It's why Dave Filoni got hired to take part in a Star Wars movie in the first place, because Disney was so impressed by his work on Ahsoka, they had to give him a movie. So, look, at the end of the day, too, Jon Favreau wants to make it clear that he is a fan-driven guy. He thinks about the people. He thinks about the audience. And he touches on this in just a second about how he's also getting rid of that way of thinking by Disney where they only go by statistics. So let's tap into that here. So he says, by canceling out the old way of thinking that Disney used over the years, we can ensure that we are confident enough in creating stories that fans are going to come to enjoy and stay engaged with. This is exactly why we are paying close attention to how the response will be from Ahsoka and how we can work from there. Bob Iger was in full agreement with us on this approach as a big step to becoming more community-focused rather than focusing on statistics. We are thinking audience now, and not just numbers. It's all about the audience that matters the most to us, and it took lots of convincing those high up to reach that mentality, and we believe that this approach we will succeed very well with. The great tales are waiting to be told. We couldn't be more thrilled what's in store for the fans. Now, on top of this, to be very vivid with you guys, we know that Jon and Dave are working on over a dozen Star Wars projects. We also know that they are eventually going to be splitting up and not working with each other for a short while after Mando Season 4, which, by the way, is still a ways off. That's not to say that they are in disagreement with each other. They're just going to take time working on their own things with Star Wars, working with different creators. Anything after The Mandalorian Season 4 for a little while. We're talking maybe a year or two max. And so that's going to be interesting because we have people like Tony Gilroy and Timothy Zahn and James Cameron and other big creators really taking part in this quote-unquote dream team. A lot of other writers and directors are going to be joining that list too over the course of the next couple of months to really kind of just expand the franchise and to give us something new. So look, I mean, at the end of the day also, we got to recall that Jon Favreau, the reason why he even joined Lucasfilm in the first place is that he wanted to correct the wrongs of The Last Jedi. That's why he brought Luke back in Mando Season 2. That's why he brought back Luke in the Book of Boba Fett. You know, that was all Jon Favreau's idea. He wanted to literally give us the Luke that we cherish, the Luke that we really grew up with and loved. And he did it. He did a great job with that. I feel he did. I don't know about you guys, but he did an amazing job with establishing Luke in Mando Season 2 and the Book of Boba Fett. And he's going to keep on going on with that in Mando Season 4, Ahsoka Season 2, and many other shows to come. There's even been a couple of hints, by the way, here and there, that Luke is going to be in the first season of Ahsoka because Mark Hamill did sign his signature, after all, on one of the sets for Ahsoka, so that could very well be a very big telltale sign there. The other thing about this that's really going to benefit the fans is that they're going to be listening to fans on an episode-by-episode basis, and not just like that, but also different points within each episode. So this fan engagement team, or this fan reception team that Jon and Dave are running, is going to be a very important one that's going to really add more value to how the community perceives Star Wars. It's going to add more value to the production of these upcoming movies and Star Wars shows, and I couldn't be more happier about this. I really couldn't. I mean, this is what should have been done right from the get-go when Disney bought out Lucasfilm, when they bought it back in 2012. This is what they should have done. I don't know what they were waiting for. I don't know why they never did something like this in the first place, but good on Jon Favreau. I give him full credit for this. This is really going to steer things in the right path, in my opinion, because now it's like they have an entire team listening very close to the fans about any level of criticism or any level of, major lore issues or mistakes that may be not working well with the story, stuff around those lines. So guys, drop a comment below, fill me in below what you guys have to say about all of this, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.